This is my base in my near 1,000 day Minecraft survival world. It's the biggest thing I've built in 14 whole years of playing this game, and I think it turned out pretty cool. However, it does have a few problems. The tree trunk is a bit flimsy, the storage system is a mess, and most notably, it looks significantly uglier with shaders off. But I think all these problems occurred because when I designed the build, I wasn't thinking about Minecraft like an artist should. Hello, my name is Josh, but you can call me Uniform, and if you're new here, hey, hope your day is going well. I'm an artist and animator who's been playing a lot of Minecraft since finishing my biggest art project ever, the pilot episode for my animated series, Part-Time Wizards, which you should totally check out if you haven't already. In this world, I've already beaten the game, gotten all the advancements, and built my dream base. But I still want to fill this world with interesting builds to make it truly feel lived in, which is why in this video, I'm going to be building a new build in my world that both looks good and serves a functional gameplay purpose. I want to see if I can take my digital art skills from years of practice and translate them into this silly block game, taking skills such as color theory, value, and composition, and seeing how I can turn them into block palettes, force lighting, and perspective. I want to do what I could not do with my mega base, build something in Minecraft like an artist would. So what exactly am I going to be building in this video? Well, there are many things that I have yet to build in this world that would really help with the survival aspect of it. Maybe I could build an automatic farm, or some kind of villager trading hall, or a storage room that doesn't suck. But I need to come up with an idea that gave me the ability to flex my artistic muscles. I was flying around my world, exploring and thinking of ideas when I looked down at my hotbar, and it hit me. Golden carrots, one of Minecraft's best food sources. Back in my world spawn, I have these two villagers living in my basement. Let's call them Ted and Tracy for no particular reason. They're an old married couple looking for a nice place to settle down. What is special about these two villagers is with them, I can take iron ingots from my automatic iron farm, trade those ingots for emeralds, and then trade those emeralds for golden carrots. These two villagers together give me an unlimited amount of the best food source in the game. However, because my base is far from my spawn, I have to do a lot of traveling back and forth in order to get more carrots, unless I go to my base and build them a nice little cottage on the island to spend the rest of their days. This way I can get easy access to golden carrots without having to go far from home. So, it's settled. I'm going to build them a nice little home right next to mine where they can live and thrive for the rest of eternity, probably, or however long I decide to keep this Minecraft world. Now, before we can start designing the build, it's time to get some inspiration. Okay, I want to make a mood board. I want to kind of gather a bunch of reference images and find some inspiration. Figure out what exactly do I want this build to look like. Put them all in here. I've got some pictures of the base already because it's going to be going right next to the base and I want it to kind of fit in with the general theme and idea. So I guess now I'm just going to start browsing the web. Ooh, yes. Something like this. I'm gonna snag that. Okay, I think this is sort of what I want the blacksmith area of the house to look like. I want it to have kind of this open area where he can kind of do his work, and then I'm gonna add on to that a little farm area for the farmer villager, and then kind of put some kind of tower maybe on top of it all. That is a perfect looking blacksmith house. I wanted to have a similar vibe to this, like the house from Kiki's Delivery Service. I think it would be really cool to have this just really big windmill that doesn't really serve much of a purpose here, but I don't know, it looks cool. Okay, I think that is all of our inspiration images, and now I'm going to use these and put them into Procreate and kind of sketch out what I think the build is going to look like in my art style. Hey, it's me again, coming to you live from the real world. But before I can build this cottage in Minecraft, I want to use the references that I just gathered from Google and put them together and make some kind of concept art by sketching them out on my iPad, because I am a chronic iPad kid and cannot get enough of drawing on this thing. I'm going to illustrate it first, which will help me a lot when I'm designing the build in Minecraft. As I was saying, here is our finished bit of concept art for what I might want this build to look like and kind of the vibe I want to give off. If I wanted to spend more time on it, I could definitely freshen it up a bit more. It's not my best background work. The perspective is all over the place, but that's enough about criticizing my art skills. This is not about the art itself. I swear, every time I finish a piece of art, I have to go back and edit it, like, very slightly, like 20 times over. I swear. I will just look at it for multiple hours on end and notice every small detail that I missed, and then I will obsess over finishing it and Hello. You joining me here from my creative mode test world. Ignore that stuff in the background. Welcome to the creative testing world, where I'm going to design everything in my build before making it in survival mode. I'm going to be using two mods in particular to help me with this cottage, those being Axiom and Litematica. Axiom is a Minecraft mod that basically turns the game to a 3D modeler and gives you a ton of options for easy building. And Litematica is a mod that lets me take those builds that I make and turn them into schematics, which I can then use to rebuild them in my survival world easily, like a blueprint. I'm going to start my build by using a technique I've seen a lot of Minecrafters use, which is making big builds in Axiom via using colored solid blocks like wool or concrete to help me lay out the general shape of a build before adding in the proper blocks and texture and color and whatnot. Think of it like thumbnailing a drawing before actually going in and making the final composition, where you want to figure out where everything is going to be placed, and the values and the lighting and all that before going in with the details. This is the part where we really get to mess around with Axiom's different 3D modeling-like features to create the shape of the house we want. Here we go. Here we have the general shape of what the house is going to look like. The blocks don't look very good right now, but that is going to get changed. I just wanted to get the general layout out. As you can see, I've got different areas of the house. I haven't done anything with the interior yet, but that will also come at a later date. Tried messing around with perspective with the windmill and the tower. But yeah, that's about it. I know I probably said in the scripted portion that I was going to use like concrete and wool and stuff, and I know that I did not do that, but that's just because I wanted to be able to use early blocks as the ones with all of the different variants, like cobbled deep slate, and so that way when I go and replace them, it'll be much easier to slide in those stairs and slabs and whatnot. Something that I really wanted to play around with while designing the build was messing around with perspective, specifically the forced perspective illusion that you see a lot in other bigger builds. You know that fun fact about the architecture of the Disney World and Disneyland castles, where the higher up it goes, the smaller the actual architecture gets? That's because when you're looking at it from a ground level, it appears taller than it actually is. And this is a forced perspective illusion that I want to mess around with and replicate in this build, since I'm actually in a 3D space rather than my typical 2D plane that I use to draw on. I can use forced perspective to change the perception of size because Minecraft has a lot of different blocks that we can use that do not take up the full block size. Things like walls and chains, and I even use some copper rods and fences and trapdoors and whatnot. We took all of those to create the illusion of the build getting smaller at the top, whereas it's not actually much taller than it actually is. While this is a lot easier to do on a bigger scale, we can still replicate it in this smaller form with some more interesting block choices. Now let's talk about color and Minecraft blocks. Minecraft blocks can come in a wide variety of colors, with new ones being added every single year. You can make a whole rainbow gradient out of the variety of different blocks to choose from. When I was choosing the blocks that I wanted to use in this build, I wanted to focus less on the individual detail of the blocks themselves and how they would look from far away, how I could represent forced lighting in terms of just making block gradients. So I wanted to use a block that's lighter in combination with darker blocks that get progressively darker as I go on in some kind of gradient to create the illusion that there is more lighting on the house than there actually is. Okay, here I have laid out every block that is currently in the build that I will need to replace. Polished andesite, cobbled deep slate, whatever type of copper this is, wall, nether brick, birch fence, and prismarine. And this is not including their stair variants and whatnot. I'm going to pick up a block or a series of blocks that I want to replace them with to create some kind of texture or gradient, and I'm going to lay them out here right next to them as so, and then I'm going to go through the build and replace what I need to replace, and then we can move on to forced lighting and all that other fancy stuff and the detailing. I wanted to use a lot of similar block palettes that I used in my tree base to kind of keep that consistency across the builds on this island. So using a lot of white blocks like pale oak and quartz, as well as darker blocks like prismarine and maybe even some cherry wood that I used for the tree itself. Okay, I'm looking at the concept art again right now to see what exactly I'm gonna be looking for. So we need a lighter block for the main area of the house, and then we of course need the darker stuff for the roof, maybe tough. Let's just go pick out some stuff. Alright, I've picked out some blocks now for the palette, but to replace the andesite, it's going to be this lighter gradient that gets darker the farther down it goes for a little bit of that forced lighting, and I can also integrate a bit of texture into that. Same goes with the rest of these blocks. Like, this is kind of what I want the deep slate to be replaced with. I'm not sure what I want to do with the tower yet, because I want that to kind of be its own thing separate from the color of the roof, but I'll figure that out later. Now I'm just gonna go replace these blocks and start to put together the final colors for the exterior. So, I'm back again, and as you can see, I've added the base colors into the house, and then I've gone ahead and textured them onto this version over here. And as you can see, there's a lot of different types of blocks being used in the palette, and how I decided what blocks to be used is based on the position of the sun, which I've put specifically there because I want that to be where the light is coming from. And as you can see, I've added in a bunch of different colors that way, so that like when you get closer to the sun, it is a brighter block color, more of that forced lighting type stuff. This is what the exterior looks like right now. An easy way to think about forced lighting when it comes to Minecraft blocks and Minecraft gradients is if the sun is up here and the player is here, then we have our Minecraft house made of cobblestone. Then maybe we make this side of cobblestone facing away from the sun a darker block like deep slate or blackstone or mud or something like that, so that from further away it looks like a shadow is being cast on the side of the house. Axiom has a lot of tools to help us with this forced lighting thing. If we position the sun or the player like this, then use the auto shade tool, then we can cast a shadow on our build as if we're placing the light source. Some of the blocks will be replaced to make some areas darker, and some will be placed to make the areas lighter, although not everything is super easy as just pressing a button. For the roof of the house in particular, I had to go back in and manually shade everything rather than just using auto shade because of the position of the fences and the walls and the stairs and all that just got completely messed up when I tried to replace those blocks with lighter or darker gradients. Something else that I noticed while building, and this is just completely off script here, is that there aren't a lot of different blocks that have that sort of lightish turquoise blue color, so I had to kind of improvise and give myself more ways to add this color to my build, using mostly the different forms of copper. You see, copper in Minecraft has 4 different forms depending on how oxidized it is. There's the super brown one, which is like the normal shiny copper, then it's exposed version, which has a little bit of oxidized green in it, the weathered version, which has a lot of oxidized green in it, and then you've got the fully oxidized copper. And I made use of this to make some kind of lighting and shading when it comes to the copper blocks that are this color, such as with the blue bars that are in front of the windows. Some of those lightning rods that I used to make those bars are weathered or exposed in order to give it the sense that it's more in the shadow than the other parts of the bars of the window. And there's one more step to designing this build, and that is my favorite part, the little details. When I go into Axiom and I can make the entire shape of the house, but now it's the part where the shape and the general idea of it is done. And now I go in by hand and just place a bunch of small blocks to add that sort of lived-in touch and feel into really giving this house more depth and making it feel like I actually kind of tried to make it look good. Okay, I think I have finally finished the main build. You ready? I'm gonna reveal it in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! Wow, look at that. It looks okay. I mean, I'm a fan. I like how this turned out. For reference, this is the build before we added all the detailing, and this is the final result. Let me give you a quick tour. So when it comes to a lot of the details like the forced perspective and the forced lighting, a lot of that came from the idea that I was going to be viewing it from around this angle. So just keep that in mind, that I'll be standing around here and the sun will be over there. So let's go through the tour real quick. We got the little path with some buttons to represent rocks. And then we can go through the front doors here made with shelves and even has a little doorknob. And then this is probably one of my favorite parts, is the interior. You can see when we walk in, we got the villagers' coats out so that they can grab those when they need to head out. This is the little kitchen area where the farmer villager will be and where we'll be able to trade them for golden carrots. There they've got a little family portrait. And of course we've got some books over here and a little porch overlooking the farmer villager's farm. I tried to go with a cozy vibe throughout this house while also leaving a lot of space in the interior. And then we go upstairs, and this enchanting table is not going to be used. It's just here for decoration and fill some space. We got a little nice area by the window here to relax by these statues. Got a cartography table here because I want to eventually put in some maps. I think this would be a good place to have some maps. We got a nice little bed area, and we got a, what is this block called? Spore Blossom, to have those nice little dust particles throughout the house to just increase the vibes. Over here we've got the wheat farm, which is pretty small, and I'm actually not planning on using this to grow wheat. It's just here for decoration, but, you know, where else is the farmer gonna do their thing? We've got a little lake here in the shape of the little star fragments that are all over the island where the tree base is. And then on this side of the house, we have the blacksmithing area, which is another area that I'm pretty proud of. In here is where the blacksmith villager is going to go. In this barrel is where I plan to put a bunch of iron that I can use to trade right away without having to go back and forth to my base to get more. We got some armor that they probably made at their anvils and smithing tables. Got a little fireplace back here with some decorative smoke and even some real smoke particles. You've even got a little entrance to this tower, which I didn't actually put anything in, so this entrance is purely cosmetic. So, the plan now. What is the plan for how we're going to get this into survival? Well, we're going to use Litematica to make this into a schematic. We're going to find a place to import this into our survival world. Then we're going to use Litematica's materialist to gather everything we need. And then we're just going to place all the blocks, then transport the villagers, and then we will be done. And then I can finally post this video. To use Litematica, all I need is a little wooden stick here. Alright, let me just make sure we've selected everything and we didn't leave anything out of this selection. Ooh, yes we did, we left out part of the farm. Okay, now I think we've got everything in our selected area. Now, we go into the Litematica menu and we're going to create a schematic. Okay, we are back here in the survival world, as you can see by the giant tree behind me. Now let's go find a nice little spot to load in our schematic. I'm really liking the vibe of this corner right over here, where it's not really in the shadow of the trees, it's right near the beacon. We can just kind of go ahead and build on this already flat area for the most part. We just got to clear out some grass and moss, and then yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this spot. There we go. As you can see, we have our schematic here. Now we just gotta get it into the right spot. Alright, I think this is the area that I'm gonna go with. I have decided. So, now we've got our schematic loaded in. So now we can see our material list. Okay, we need 10,818 items, which is a lot, but it's significantly less than the last build that I did in this world. I can start gathering my materials. Okay, now it is the next day, and with the exception of waiting for some copper blocks to oxidize a bit more, I have gathered all of the materials that I will need to build this cottage in these shulker boxes. So I guess while I wait for these final few blocks to get ready, I'm gonna start going ahead and building out the first few layers. Something that I use a lot when building with Litematica is the Smart Place feature. It's kind of hard to see when I press the button for it because it goes right away underneath my day counter down there by my hotbar, but I can toggle it on and off with just a button press, and then what it does is it'll automatically place the blocks if they're in my inventory, and all I need to do is hold down right click. So let me grab a few more different types of blocks and I can demonstrate. So as you can see, I've got 3 different types of blocks in my hotbar right now, and now if I just hold down right click, it'll just place them for me in the right orientation. I don't need to do anything, I can just kind of turn my brain off and put down blocks. It's super useful, and this is how I plan on building out the rest of the build. I'm going to use this easy place method and go up 1 layer at a time of the build until the entire house is complete. Something that I noticed immediately when I started building this house in survival mode is the overwhelming amount of different types of blocks that were used in the build and trying to manage my inventory while building it. So you see there's over 180 different block types that were used in this build, and I tried to stuff all of that in my inventory at once and just pull out from shulker boxes whatever I needed at the time, but this quickly became an issue when I was trying to keep everything organized and had to spend a few minutes at a time searching through all of my shulker boxes just to find the one item that I was looking for. So I eventually went and looked for a possible solution, and I found a mod that I'm trying to remember the name of, but I will put it on screen if I find it back on Modrinth. But basically what it let me do is it pulled the blocks out of my inventory for me and put them into Litematica's Easy Place feature, which made the entire building process much quicker and much easier. Moral of the story is, if you're struggling with something in Minecraft, there's probably a mod that helps you with that. So use Modrinth, I guess. Hello again. Join me here at the top of the tower to place the final few blocks onto the build before it is done. We just gotta go through a few more layers. I think this is it. I think this is the final one. Yep. There we go. The build is complete for the most part. Ignore those red bits. I will fix them. Boom. Alright, here is a look at the initial concept art, and then here is the final build. I hope it turned out well. I hope they look good next to each other. I hope I did a good job of taking the concept art and translating it into block form. And then here's a look at the entire island from above while flying, with the giant tree base and the house on one island. And hopefully in the future, if I do more building in this world, I can continue to really fill out the rest of this island, put a bunch more stuff in there, and really make it feel more lived in without a bunch of empty space. Now, the final thing I have to do to really complete this project is the entire reason why we started in the first place. I'm going to bring my villagers from my spawn base all the way to this new island where they'll spend the rest of their lives in this nice little cottage. And that, my friends, is how you build in Minecraft while thinking like an artist. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoy this video, do all that fun stuff like liking and commenting and subscribing. I read every single comment because I'm still kind of new at this whole YouTube thing. So I want to take your praise and your critique into account for the future and make the best possible videos that I can. I would really like to get this channel to over 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. So that is the goal. That is the plan, because the more I grow, the more subscribers I get, and the more feedback I get, the closer I get to being able to fund and make more of my animated series, Part-Time Wizards. So all subscribing, all commenting, it all helps towards that mission of creating more of my show. And if you want to see more videos about art or animation or whatnot, then stay tuned, because I'll hopefully have more coming in the future. Thanks again, and I hope to see you next time. What is special about these two villagers is that with them, I can trake.
I am Steve, crafting table.